a quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Tabletop Gold, episode 46. We're going to figure out exactly what that means in just a moment, but first we're going to say hello to David the Tin Man Chernicoff.
Howdy.
Who's
Good evening.
here.
Yes.
Robin Lange is here as well.
Hello.
Our Matt Humphreys is here.
Evening, y'all.
And Zoe Chernicoff is also here.
Hi.
Just before we started recording, Zoe, you pointed out that 46 is...
Double 23.
You can't escape it. 23 is coming for you.
The numbers do not lie.
X going to give it to you, by which I mean X, the 23rd letter of the alphabet. So, not really. Hi, everybody. We're going to be playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition tonight, continuing our playthrough of the Abomination Vault's adventure path. We ended last time on a scorching cliffhanger, and we're gonna.
Again.
Yes, a number of people have been upset with me. That's fine. I'm count
You
myself
can say
among
everyone.
those people.
It's easier
Everyone,
just to round up.
And by
Yeah.
everyone, you could just say Robin. Robin, it's Robin.
I think more than just Robin hates me, Robin, but I appreciate you looking out for me that way.
Compartmentalizing.
Yeah. But before we get into that, David, Zoe, we actually did not record last week because you guys were traveling.
Spring break.
Woo! Spring break. How? Oh gosh. So David, Zoe, what'd you do? How was your spring break trip?
Yeah, we took a trip to Atlanta, Georgia as a family. By family, I mean 3 generations.
It's true.
Wow.
Children's
Yeah.
parents, grandparents.
It was
all
a
in
heritage
tow.
trip.
I thought you were about to say a harrowing trip.
Oh, well, no, as far as travel with our family goes, it was less harrowing than it might. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone got on each other's nerves, but that's traveling together.
Yeah, that's just family.
Yeah, that's life.
You don't even have to travel to do that.
So David, you and Zoe, the two of you together, Zoe, you and David, you were the generational filling in this 3-part sandwich.
In
The
spring
double
baked
cream
sandwich.
stuffing, if you will.
I will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Why Atlanta? Why did you go to Atlanta? That seems like a kind of that's not a typical vacation spot in my mind.
So my headquarters of where I work is based there, and I didn't think I was going to be able, given the timing of when this was, to take the whole week off. We also have come to realize that our kids are 3 and 5 now, and 2 years of a pandemic have really country moused them. Seeing our kids' reactions to the city was just the first night we did an Airbnb most of the nights. First night we drove down and stayed in a hotel because of timing and driving and all of that. We got in the hotel and our children about an elevator. It was as if you suddenly woke up and were on the Starship Enterprise and there were transport.
Really?
Both of them being it is an elevator. My son wouldn't get in one. He was terrified of it.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Were you able to anticipate the things that would shock them, or were you caught off guard by these mind-blowing new experiences?
Some and some.
The first day we realized the thing of living in the sheltered suburbs. My son.
I know exactly what she's going to say.
Yeah. No concept of street trash, which when my daughter was young, we lived in Oakland, in an urban area, it was something I was attuned to, but I'm just out of practice. And he's out wandering around when we first unpacking the car at the hotel. and I look over and he just has a used Solo cup.
Oh,
Oh my God.
And I'm like, no, bud. Like, and then like an hour later, we go to a playground nearby and I look over and he's got a used orange plastic straw. He's just chewing on.
Oh, no.
Which,
it's so gross.
But, because to
Not
him,
what
it's
you
just
want.
like bright plastic
Right.
stuff. Like, why
Right.
wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you put your teeth on something that's bright and plastic? Oh.
Right. Why wouldn't you just put it in your mouth?
well, look, wait.
Right.
Couple disclaimers. The
Okay.
first is our son is at an age where it does not take long for him to do these things. We're talking
you
about
explore the world through your mouth.
Oh,
Of
yes.
course.
and we're
of
talking about
course.
he's out of sight for like 2.1 seconds and he's 75 feet away with someone's used Solo cup in his mouth.
That is
like,
what teenagers do.
Yeah.
Totally. I was not.
I
I was
know.
not considering this story for a moment as though like you were being negligent. Like that
Right,
wasn't
right.
at all how I heard the story.
I just feel like I don't know. It's important to disclaim people may be listening for the first time.
And
Our
anyone who
children
knows
are small.
3-year-olds know 3-year-olds go to 3-year-old.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm amazed that you guys. I sincerely apologize for this. I always forget what town you live in. You guys are in Chapel Hill, right?
That's the one.
Yes.
Okay. I'm surprised that Chapel Hill is not filled with tempting trash morsels.
Well, that sounds like someone who's been living in New York City for a long time.
Yeah, no, totally. Like that's the first thing he learned before my son learned before he could walk. I was like, that you don't want that anywhere
Listen, buddy,
near your mouth.
Let me
friend.
tell you some stuff about the world. It's round, there's gravity, and it's filled with garbage.
It's filled with garbage.
Should see the shit we can find on the sidewalk in Queens.
What was the most fun that you had in Atlanta? Like, what was your go-to stop? If I'm considering taking my toddler to Atlanta, what's the brass ring to reach for?
Well, there's a handful of like pretty tier 1 kid activities in that city, and all of them are really good kid activities. The aquarium is great. The zoo is great. Grandma and Grandpa took them to the puppet museum, but the puppet museum apparently
Gonna say, did you go to the puppet museum? It's so good.
the kids and the grandparents did. Mom and Dad were working that day, but like, yeah, that seemed to be the absolute highlight. Like everybody came back completely in love with the puppet museum.
I will say the kids' favorite thing was the ice cream shop around the corner from where we stayed, which had not just rainbow sprinkles, but sparkly rainbow sprinkles that also had stars in them
Ooh.
that they would
Wow.
sell to you, thank goodness, for $12 a bag. So now we have some at home. We brought a little piece of Atlanta home with us.
Well, that and all the trash that I brought home in my bag.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
All the we've got the Solo cup and the straw as well because
Oh, you kept those. You kept baby's first trash disaster.
Memories. Good memories.
There's certain buildings around town that are like, anything more than 5 stories tall, they refer to as a skyscraper. But I feel like they were kind of didn't react to the skyscrapers as much as I was. Like, there were actual skyscrapers to look at. And we were like, so check it out. It's like 30 stories or like 50 or whatever. But they were kind of too far away to...
I think they didn't realize they had elevators that tall. I bet if we'd sold that, they would have been good.
That's true. Wasn't there another one? There was some place that we went where all they wanted to do... Oh, was it the aquarium? We go into the aquarium and it's like, you want to go to the like saltwater coral reef situation, or you want to go to the like big giant whale sharks and manta rays and stuff, or do you want to go to the dolphins, or do you want to go to the penguins? And our daughter was like, I want to ride the escalator.
$250 worth of aquarium admissions later, we found the best ride available.
You can go up it and you can go down it.
Right back
It's
down.
worth every penny.
Every penny.
Yeah, we're members there.
You know what else is worth every penny, folks?
Not dying.
This podcast that you're listening to right now.
Yeah.
But this podcast
This
is
free
free, you say
podcast?
to yourself. And I say, yes, it is free. And it's because it's free and it's because it's such a great show that I want to thank everybody who has taken the time to leave a review of Tabletop Gold on their podcast app of choice.
Hey, though, it's not you, because you who's listening, you haven't done it yet, right? You haven't done it.
No, I'm pretty sure they've done it. Hey, listener, if you haven't done it yet, just go ahead and do it right now. And that way Zoe will never know that you haven't done it yet. Go do it now. It's okay. You can just do it now. I'll cover for you. No, Zoe, they've done it. Don't worry. They've taken care of it, I'm sure.
Okay.
She's going to get really mad if you don't do it. Just do it right now. I do want to thank one person that left a review on Podcast Addict, a great podcasting platform that lets you leave reviews. Skia left a review. Could be Skya, who knows? Saying one of the best PF2 podcasts out there. How about that? How about that for a nice podcast review?
Yeah.
We think you're one of the best listeners out there.
I
Skia.
totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, with that, everybody, let's do it. Let's play.
Let's
Our game.
die.
Time to die.
Boo.
Yeah, all of your experience points will be lost, like tears in rain. Okay. Thanks, Armat.
Yeah, I understood that reference.
Your investigation into the ancient weapon that attacked the town of Otari has landed you in an uncomfortable situation. In a natural cavern deep underground, an aberrant creature, a pile of flesh covered with mouths and eyes, has oozed forwards out of a pool of water and is now trying to consume you. Within 30 seconds, it has managed to catch all of you and your Morlock ghoul companion Augriel in its many mouths. And it is now trying to gnaw on all of you to eat you all, gibbering all the time with its incessant I'm going to set the stage for you, listener. We're picking up right where we left off. Everybody has been hit a bunch. The gibbering mouther, which is surrounded by Trill, Mag, Augriel, Vadim, and Norman, has been beaten down. It is barely hanging on to life. Its speech, if you can call it that, is now a raspy We're about to start round 6.
Oof.
In my mind, this is just one person's opinion. This is me, impartial bystander Lars, telling you. I think that our heroes have one round to end this before things get dire.
Oh, interesting. I kind of felt like they already were dire.
Nah, we got this.
The last thing that just happened is that Trill failed to get off a spell because her hands were not free enough to move. She failed the flat check. Robin failed the flat check. So we are going straight into round 6.
Now, question.
Yes.
Can I hero point my flat check?
If you want to.
We're on episode 46.
Yes.
I still have 2 hero points left. What do you think, guys?
Oh, if you've got 2, I forgot you got one last time.
The DC on this stupid check is only a 3, right?
It's 5.
It's 5.
Still, odds are in your favor of passing.
That's what we'd think.
Well,
we'd think
right. The
we
odds
should
have
be
not been
able
in our
to
favor
roll
for
above
anything.
that.
In this combat, I don't know what the odds
Or-
are anymore.
Yeah. It's probably worth saying to the listener, these rolls have been extremely lopsided
So
for
bad.
me.
We have had the worst rolls.
And not just like there's been a lot of crit fails, but then just a lot of like 2s through 7s, just like
Yes, just
bumbling,
constant 2s through
bumbling,
7s.
just
Things that should have worked have not worked.
Should we do some positive ideating, right?
Yes.
Like we're talking.
Oh,
let's
that's a
talk
good
about
idea.
this in
Let's
the
do that.
past tense. Yeah,
Okay,
we
right.
were.
That
We
was
had
last.
terrible rolls.
Before we logged on tonight, I did actually, Lars, I had to do a stress meditation just to mentally prepare myself. So I, for 15 minutes, went on my meditation app just to prepare myself for your bullshit.
good.
Well, let's see if that's enough to beat my bullshit. I've been working on this bullshit for quite some time. I've had 2 weeks to think about it. I've been getting my chakras aligned. Let's see how your chakras
So,
fare against
you know
mine.
what? I am going to hero point that.
All right, hero
Because
point
Because
it.
there's
Hero
only so
point
many
your
things I
flat
can
check.
control. There's only so many things
Fine.
I can control. So I'm going to hero point that flat check.
Okay, so here's what we're just to catch the listener up. Trill tried to get off a telekinetic projectile and was interrupted. She failed the flat check. So that's what we're re-rolling right now. We're at the end of round 5. Trill has 2 more actions left. She's casting a spell, and here comes the flat check to see if Trill is able to move her hands while she's being held down by this disgusting pile of aberrant flesh.
11.
Hey.
All
There we
right.
go. So let's see how
go.
this TKP goes now. Let's see if this actually does anything.
Wait, I thought you already rolled it. Didn't you roll a 20, but then you missed it on the die?
You know what? You're absolutely entirely correct.
Ooh.
She rolled a 20 on her roll. She rolled a 10 on the die, rolled a 20, and because this gibbering mouther is fatigued and flat-footed, that is going to hit.
Zoe, have I told you today how brilliant and beautiful you are?
Oh, thank you.
Just, just
Okay,
put
let's
that
get
out
the
there.
damage roll. Come on, guys.
Enough.
Okay. So that damage roll is 9.
And what kind of damage are you doing? Are you doing the bludgeoning damage that you know this creature is weak
Yes,
to?
absolutely the bludgeoning damage that we know this creature is weak to.
Fantastic. So Trill sends a rock squishing down on top of this creature. Crunch, squish. It's still up.
Oh.
That's
How many
lame.
hit points does this thing
It's,
have?
1 million
I'll tell you
hit
that
points.
later.
But I did a bunch of damage.
You did a bunch of damage. Great job on the hero point. I would have mocked you for using a hero point in such a way, but it was a great choice. You did the right thing.
Correct.
This gibbering mouther is knocked over in an uncomfortable position. It is prone. So on its turn at the beginning of round 6, as it is surrounded by all 5 of you, it is going to take one action to get itself into a more comfortable position, flip itself so that it is no longer prone as it is gnawing upon you.
I imagine that's so grotesque, like all these kind of rolls just like undulating.
Oh god, the mouths are moving. Oh.
Right, mouths are locked on to each of us, but it's like adjusting itself, sklorping along the ground.
And this whole time that you're doing this is just
It's the worst.
Here's what's going to happen next. This creature, which has mouths on all of you, is happy to eat any single one of you, so I'm going to roll a die to see which among you it is going to hit. So it is going to target Trill, irritated, I suppose, at being squished on in such a way. So for its second action, here comes its jaws as it tries to gnaw on Trill one more time. That is a pretty good roll. That's a 27.
So if that's 10 more, if the armor class is 17, how does that work?
That's what we call a critical hit.
A miss, right? It's a miss. It happens to be.
So Trill looks and sees all of these rows of teeth just clamp down right on top of Trill's arm. Here comes critical damage. Trill is going to take a big hit, 20 points of damage, and she starts bleeding as well.
Oh no.
Ooh,
How many hit points is Trill at right now?
Trill's got 2 hit points left.
Oh,
Shit.
Okay.
with with persistent
That bleed damage could knock you. Bleeding is scary in this game.
Yeah,
Let's
because that
see.
last 2 hit points could very well knock her
yeah,
out.
good.
This gibbering mouther has one more action. I'm going to roll again to see who it attacks. It is going to attack Augriel for its second attack. That is a 12 to hit as it is thrown off balance. That's it for the gibbering mouther. Mag, you look forward. You're being grabbed onto. You're bleeding. You're being held in place. You are raging. You have Trill's inspiring words filling your mind. And in front of you, this creature is nearly letting out a death rattle. Time is not on your side, though. What is Mag going to do?
Well, since I'm, just like a regular, let's call it player in the game, instead of some neutered bystander for but once, I am going to hit it with my hammer.
Whoa!
Ah! Here comes Mags. Oh, 20 on the die, baby!
You gotta draw. Nice.
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 Okay. This crit card is called Where Am I? And you're, David, gonna love it. You're gonna love this thing. Normal damage, no double damage.
Obviously. Yeah.
Yay. Yeah.
And the target is stunned too.
Oh, that's pretty good though.
We like stunned.
Stunned means that it can't act and it absorbs actions. It has to use actions to get through being stunned.
Does it mean it dies
turntables.
instantly? That would be better.
Well, let's see what the damage roll is.
24 damage.
Okay, it's normal damage, David.
All right, 24 is the damage I deserve. The damage I'm being given is 12.
12 is actually 17 because this creature is weak to bludgeoning damage, and it is in one fluid motion that Mag is able to swing this warhammer down. Crunch.
Ripples.
And the muttering, this incessant muttering, stops. It is over. It is done. You have done everything you need to do to end this fight against this gibbering mouther. But you are not out of the woods yet because everybody is bleeding.
Not this shit again.
Yeah, I think Norman's not bleeding. Augriel cannot bleed. Mag is bleeding. It's not that big a deal. It's a D4 of bleeding, and she has 20 hit points. But Trill is an issue.
I have an elixir of life. Can that help here?
It will give you more hit points, so you don't bleed
I
to
got
death. But
you.
it will
I
not
got
stop
you,
your
girl.
bleeding.
I got you, girl. So as
You got me, girl?
Mag's hammer comes down and it smashes this thing to death, and as the thing dies and is therefore unable to be stunned, Mag's warhammer does an additional 12 damage to the ground underneath it.
You break the ground and you fall into the next level of the dungeon.
I break the ground in an amount of 12. So with my second action, I will take out the minor healing potion that I have on my belt. And with my third, am I able to reach over and administer it to Trill?
Yeah.
However, I don't have to give it to her and whatever.
No,
So-
that's fine. You can
all
pour
right.
it. You
You
can
just
pour it into
lean
her.
down really low.
Yeah. So Trill is like 3 or 4 feet lower than Mag, and is sort of has her mouth open, and Mag is pouring this healing potion like it's a Mountain Dew in like a mid 90s.
I thought we were going to turn the corpse into an ice luge. Armat's just shaking his head. Just please no. Anything but a corpse luge.
I mean, Armat is fine with corpse luge. That's like,
Sure, sure.
how I spend most weekends.
Vadim,
Let's be
no.
real. But Vadim, maybe not.
And then the healing is 1d8, and that's a 3.
Okay.
So
up to
3
5.
points. That's enough to give Trill a second shot at getting rid of this bleed damage. It's not as much as I would have liked.
At the end of Mag's turn, Mag is going to take 2 points of bleed damage.
Okay.
And you can try to make that flat check. You want to beat a 15.
And that is a 6, so Mag is still bleeding.
Okay. Augriel looks around, sees how bad the situation, and says,
I don't think there's much I can do to help right now.
Tear it to fucking pieces, Augriel, says Norman from the ground.
No, it was alive. It's disgusting. I don't want to eat this.
I don't mean eat it. I mean just desecrate it.
Oh, okay.
Norman.
Okay.
What? I've died.
It's gross.
Because you're my friend, Stephanopoulos Gregory, I will do that for you.
and Augriel timidly starts sort of patting this pile of flesh, gamely trying to participate in this odd violence. It is now Vadim's turn. Vadim is bleeding himself, but what is Vadim going to do?
He is going to stride over to Trill, and then he's going to use 2 actions to administer first aid.
Yeah, so what you're trying to do is you're trying to make a medicine check. You're trying to beat a number associated with the intensity of this bite from this specific monster.
Cool. 22.
22 succeeds. You were able to put a compress on Trill, enough for her to try to make this bleeding stop. That means that
thank
Trill
you.
gets to make a flat check now to see if she stops bleeding.
Oh, thank you.
And that's a 17.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Whew. Thank you, Armat.
It's what I'm here for.
Hero point for Vadim. So here's the situation that we're looking at right now as we're coming towards the middle of round 6. Vadim has 17 hit points. Mag has 18. They're the only two that are bleeding. They're bleeding a D4 per round. I think we can safely assume that we are going to get out of this situation.
That Mag will get out of it while Vadim slowly dies.
Probably crit fails and damages himself in the attempt.
Trill still has 1 spell slot left with Soothe. So
right.
she can still
like you
soothe
have
someone if we need
resources. I'm not worried about it right now. Right. Like I don't think there's any chance at a D4 at a time that these two folks are gonna.
We've done it
die.
before. We've done it before.
We have done it before, but that was with more bleeding and fewer hit points.
All right.
Yeah.
What that means is a couple minutes later, this bleeding has stopped. It's about 4:15 in the afternoon, and the 4 of you plus Augriel are just able to hear this kind of sloshing sound from this water gently sort of pushing against this shore. This is a natural cavern. Yes.
Would Norman have been able to hear that over the sound of pulling out every one of this creature's teeth slowly and methodically, or would he not have been able to hear that?
No, I'm imagining Norman has like an old timey money bag,
Yeah,
but instead of
just-
having the dollar sign on it, just this voluminous, impossibly large bag that he's dragging behind him that just
Yeah.
has like the tooth emoji on it instead of a dollar
and now it's just
sign.
all this creature's however many hundreds of teeth it must have had.
Listener,
Yeah.
please someone make that for Zoe.
Yeah. If you could make an oversized sort of like bank robber's bag filled with teeth, that would be great.
Perfect.
Norman grab 1 tooth or like 50 teeth?
He's mostly pulling them out and discarding them out of anger, but he's taken a few, the particularly sharp ones.
Just out of rage.
Yeah.
Vadim is just watching and shaking his head, just like, how did I get involved with this? I don't. Life seems so simple in Vigil.
Augriel turns towards Vadim and says,
This is a fascinating culture you people have above ground. Really incredible. I never would have dreamed that the space beneath the sun would be so tooth-oriented.
Oh, God, don't you start too. Oh.
Each time Norman throws a tooth aside to a different part of the cave, Mag goes and smashes it with the warhammer. Each
Like
time dealing
whack-a-mole?
12 points of damage to the ground.
Norman wipes a considerable amount of blood off of his hands. He's like, well, the last time we had to kill something awful in water, there was a bunch of treasure. Should we make sure there's nothing here and get ourselves better before we go?
Trill's buns sparkle a little bit more when Norman mentions treasure.
yeah, and just to set the scene as you start looking for treasure, you're in this natural cavern. There's this short stairway that is leading back into the keep. There is a small pond in front of you. If you look up above the pond, you can see that there is a hole leading up into the ceiling. And then there's a passageway off to the west that you have not yet explored. It sounded like Norman was searching for things in the pond, though.
Yeah, kind of like feeling, he hasn't left the room yet, but he's kind of like feeling about for, gold, goodies, teeth.
So Norman is able to look in this water. The water itself is pretty clean, pretty clear, not nothing strange or gross happening in here, which is a novel feeling for this floor, probably. And he finds a number of coins.
Oh.
There are a lot of copper pieces and silver pieces that have been sprinkled from above, it looks like, down into this water.
Oh, interesting. And I feel like from where we are, we're maybe below the area where we think the battle was, like 2 floors up, the big room where the rocks had fallen through with the staircase we didn't clear. I don't know. That seems to match up.
Seems about right. Yeah. Or it could be. Yeah, it certainly could be. And that seems right.
This could be Otari's gold.
You don't see any gold per se. If it's Otari's copper and silver. You find 64 pieces of silver and 190 pieces of copper.
Oh.
This fucker liked change.
They're like a wishing well upstairs or something?
It's like a wishing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if people were dropping these from directly above, or they somehow washed in here from somewhere else.
You do not recall seeing a
Didn't
well
the
upstairs.
Water dragon also have kind of a hoard? Maybe some of the water it washed through this hole down from its stash.
Yeah, that could be.
Or this could be like this thing eats people, and then it kids, when they eat a coin, they just poop them out, right? This could be
Totally
what it can't digest.
Well, but it wasn't just a stash. They were scattered.
Yeah.
The wishing
That's why
theory
we
was
both kind of went to the wishing well idea. That
it's
as though they fell down.
Visually, it seems like it would be a wish, like they're all.
I mean, it's interesting that these stairs just lead down to this pond and then just stop at the foot of it.
Yeah, like I said, though, there is this passageway leading off to the west.
Well, let's heal and then maybe check that out.
No.
Yeah.
Let's go home. Guys, Trill has no spell slots. Trill has a single spell slot left. She's
We'll
done.
be fine.
Well, we should certainly heal. Whatever we're doing, we should
Right.
not do it like at, whatever, a
Yes.
quarter health.
Yeah.
Let's take this one step at a time. We all agree that we don't want to have 3 hit points in one round.
Trill has 5
That
hit points
seems-
left. So Vadim, Trill has 5 hit points left. How long is it going to take us to get her all healed up?
How many lay on hands do you need if Vadim can heal at 12 hit points?
I believe that's going to be 3 lay on hands.
Okay.
Mag is going to need 4.
Norman competently tends to his own wounds, healing for 12, and then needs 1 lay on hands.
Which will lose Norman the wounded condition, which is nice.
Great. Nice.
Cool. So that's 8, and then Vadim, because of his ghoul fever, will need 5
Ooh.
for a total of 130 minutes.
Wow, so it is getting late in the day. It's right around 5:30. And you've had the time as you're healing up to pick through the rest of this room. You don't hear much of anything else approaching. It is silent, maybe soothing even, a welcome break from the nonstop sort of rotting flesh and grotesqueries of this ghoul territory. You just get to sort of relax at the shore of this strange underground pond next to the body of a weird tooth monster.
Toothless monster.
This weird gum monster. So, what would you guys like to do next?
I have suggested my thoughts, which is return to town. Do some training, sell some shit, upgrade. That's where I feel like we are.
Does anyone have any desire to poke their head down this hallway, or should we just call it?
I'd poke.
Let's poke our heads in. Maybe Norman can stealth in, and then if we see anything, immediately hit the dusty trail.
Okay.
There's no way there'd be 2 bad things in one enormous dark black cave, right? Says Norman, tiptoeing down the hallway.
Trill's hair buns droop a little bit of, okay, I like new things.
So, Norman leads the way, attempting to blend into the shadows through this winding, natural passageway. This is a worm that looks like it was created by some sort of natural process.
I'm sorry, a worm?
Sorry, you're in a worm that's eaten you. Spoiler.
Right.
Roll for
Sorry, you've
initiative.
been killed by a worm.
There's a worm in here, guys. Giant motherfucking worm.
As long as I end up engulfed by it and unable to use my hands or actions, I am totally down.
Yeah, isn't being engulfed just the most fun, David?
As long as
Doesn't it just make you feel great?
as long as it lasts for 6 rounds.
I want to talk for a second about the engulfing thing, because it was so uniquely bad, I think, for Mag. because engulfing targets reflex saves, which is Mag's worst save. And in order to cut yourself out, you have to use a tiny little piercing weapon,
which I don't have.
and Mag just brings big, huge weapons. So it so completely neutralized Mag in a way that I think made that encounter. And it had that reaction where if you slashed it, it bites you.
And we found out after my first turn that what we needed to do was bludgeon it. So I went into the thing with a giant hammer on my back and no way to draw it for like 4 where everyone else is. All the smaller characters are outside like, well, I guess we have to bludgeon it, and are like flicking it with their fingers. And I'm inside of it with this hammer, and all I can do is get eaten and barfed.
So what you're telling me, David, is that not only was that monster designed to defeat Mag, it was also designed to irritate you as much as possible.
Listen, I have some raw spots around feelings of inefficacy and inability to affect my circumstances. So, being engulfed in a monster with the exact weapon that I needed on my back and unable to draw it.
Tell me again about being a father during the pandemic.
7 out of 10 recommend.
7? Oh, okay. No, not so bad.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. So the 4 of you are picking your way down this natural passageway. Norman, again, blending into the shadows, leading the way. Norman, after about 50 feet or so, reaches a tight turn in the tunnel where it first turns sharply off to the right and then turns sharply back to the left.
This doesn't feel good.
He's like also, to the extent he can stay stealth, but like scout, he's looking around to see what he can find.
Vadim is following the leader, trying to stealth as well.
Mag is scouting for enemies.
Trill's running her hands along the wall as she's going.
On the map, we have taken a very curious route.
Yeah, it's quite a passage.
Trill, as she runs her hand along the passage, feels like there's almost an organic texture to the walls. That it almost feels like scales, or it's hard rock to the touch, but it has been worn away in a way that is sort of unnervingly like an animal.
Yeah, unnerving is the right word. Discomforting.
Ooh, that's a good one.
As Norman makes his way around this bend, he spots something strange about the wall on the northern side of this tunnel, right around here. There's a smooth section that is too smooth for the sort of natural, sort of organic shape to this tunnel.
There's something here that's too smooth for the natural organic shape of this tunnel. I wonder what it could be, says Norman.
Have you tried interacting with it?
Oh, good call. And he pushes at it.
So you push at it and it gives way. And you realize that this is a door. As you push this stone panel, it swivels open. And you find the motion of this door is blocked by a couch. And it was the very couch that you first met Augriel on as he was reading a book when you met him earlier this afternoon.
It's your waiting room, bud.
Didn't expect this.
Oh, well, this is quite unexpected. I agree, Trill. Well, thank you. Thanks for bringing me back. This has been great.
You're just gonna stay here now? You're done?
It sounded as though you were maybe heading back up above the ground.
Well, I guess you can't come above ground with us, but I don't really want to say goodbye to you.
You could come back and say hello to me again, I suppose.
There's no question we'll be back. Will you travel with us again?
Oh, I'm not sure. I do appreciate you leading me to see those ghouls that attacked me and my family. It's given me quite a lot to think about. The memories as they come back are giving me many different feelings.
You know, you could always go back to that kind of day spa section and heal in that blue light. That seemed to be good for you.
Oh, that's a very good idea. Yes, I will do that. I will rejuvenate myself in the unholy energies of the negative light.
Oh, God. Trill, you had to give him that idea.
I'm sorry, Vadim. He's just so nice. He likes my
No, he's
music.
very nice. I get that. That makes this very difficult for me. Oh,
It has been comforting to spend some time with the four of you. I do have a lot to think about, though.
yes. Perhaps we all do, and maybe this is a sign we ought to break off our exploration for the day and return to town. I know, Trill, you are feeling a bit weary yourself.
That's one word for it. Sure. Yeah.
We've discovered this shortcut, so it'll be easier to push on through this tunnel when we return. Let's turn back and head to town.
If anyone bugs you, bud, tell him Stephanopoulos is coming for him.
Yeah, we got your back. You're one of us.
We'll bring you a snack.
Oh, thank you. I do warn you that my diet is quite limited, though, so bring me something really disgusting, please.
We'll bring you something undead. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
God.
perfect. Thank you.
And he clasps his hands together and does a sort of half spin around and then dramatically collapses on the couch behind him.
Shall we go retrieve those books?
Yeah.
Let's do so.
So after a quick stop off in that bathroom that you know, the washroom, Mag is able to load herself all the way up. Her like Mag feels overburdened. She's not able to move as well. She's, in game terms, she is encumbered. She's clumsy from just this mass of books. She's carrying 7 of these enormous books.
It's a huge burlap sack with a picture of a book on the side.
Well, we've got all different kinds.
I think on the way is the sun down by now? Is it light or dark?
Yeah, I'm going to say that it takes you about an hour to get through that passageway, to work your way back over to that bathroom, to clear the way to get Augriel situated, and you are heading up the stairs, up through the 3rd level, up through the 2nd level, out into the swamp, just as the sun is starting to go down. It's the 17th of Gosrin. As soon as you step outside, there is this misty rain that's falling. You put the lighthouse behind you, and you have some time during this slow walk back to town to consider all of the things that you have done with the day. You have tracked the river drake Fresnelkesh to her lair and captured her hoard of treasure. You've cleared the traps out of the Morlock territory and explored the servants' quarters that had become their home. You investigated and dismantled the traps built into the dioramas, showing off various apocalypses befalling the city of Absalom. You stole the treasure of an enormous spider monster. You befriended the Morlock ghoul Augriel, chased a green light into a water elemental and dispatched it within 6 seconds. You fought a swarm of ghouls in the library. You infected Vadim with ghoul fever. You cleared ghouls out from the central section of the library. You investigated the blue negative energy on the 3rd level below the lighthouse. You went to the office of Belcora herself and nearly got killed by a fae named Shimmergren. You fought even more ghouls in the restricted sections of the library and the surrounding rooms. And you confronted a strange, aberrant creature covered with eyeballs and mouths. And as these memories of the day wash over you, how are you guys feeling about your progress? You were hired by the mayor to stop this beam from firing again. And how's it going? How are you feeling?
I mean, when you put it that way, from Robin's perspective, what a proper dungeon crawl we've done.
Wow.
From Trill's perspective, I don't feel like we've gotten any closer to figuring out what's going on with this lighthouse. I'm just exhausted.
The horrors keep mounting, but there's no sense of why. Why are they all there? It seems some of them were drawn to Belcora. Some of them maybe she created or planned to use for other ends, but the pieces don't fit.
It has to be connected to Nimbaloth. Something about the raising of the undead, perhaps as food for a super predator? I don't know, but I think we need to delve deeper. I'm with you, Trill.
Through all of it, there's that light. Where does it go? Where does it come from?
And as Norman mentions the light, if you were to turn behind you and look back up to the lighthouse, you'd see a surge of blue energy as it seems as though the light is starting to grow stronger once again. It's been dim for the days since it fired on that graveyard, but as you look back now, you get the sense that it is once more starting to gather up some energy.
Must be time to kill Haplo again.
We never really processed that.
How is Vadim feeling after a day of like smashing ghouls and also making friends or not friends with this creature Ogriel?
I mean, I think Ogriel is featured prominently in his thoughts. I don't know if he's sharing them with the others, but I think he's ruminating very deeply on it. So he's probably quieter than normal on the walk back, lost in his own mind.
So Vadim is silent as you work your way through the swampland, past the logging camps, along the trail leading back to town, as you move past the Stone Ring Pond where the Druids' encampment is. And you find yourself standing once more above the cliff that surrounds and protects the town of Otari. What would you guys like to do now?
It sounds like we might want to go to sleep. I don't know. It was a pretty intense day.
It's around 7:30 at night, so it is starting to be nighttime, but it's still early yet in the evening.
Wasn't there that happy hour special from 7:30 to 8:30 at Crow's Cask, though?
I could probably go for one of McElroy's concoctions. It sounds pretty good.
I have a hankering for some cheesy bread.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. That sounds
I
real
could
good.
do a drink.
Just one, guys. We'll just, shake it off.
Yeah.
And some cheesy bread.
We're going to Crow's Cask.
So you set down the central road leading towards Crow's Casks, and you are greeted by none other than the mayor of town himself, Osif Menhemes.
Mini-Man! What up, boy?
Well, I'm doing
The big O.
fine. I'm actually quite glad to see all of you. You can see that he's looking up at the lighthouse and seeing that the light is glowing again. He says, you're just who I was looking for. I was interested in getting a sense of what it was that you've been able to find. It looks like you've had a long day behind you. How about if I buy you all a drink? Come on down to the Rowdy Rockfish with me.
You said it's on you?
Oh, of course.
Well, in that case.
I've always thought of you as a giver, says Norman, and he throws his arm around his shoulder and walks off towards the Rowdy Rockfish with him.
Mayor, just one. Do they have any kind of like a storage locker, just somewhere where I could safely put these books? They're so heavy.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you let me help you with those?
Oh no, I don't think you're that.
No.
I don't think you wanna. Trill's like desperate to make sure the mayor does not look at what these books are.
These filthy, filthy books.
I strongly prefer to carry them myself.
She does not want the mayor to know what Morley buns into.
I can head up to Morlabin's and meet you there.
I'll help you, Meg. And
Okay.
Vadim helps shoulder a couple of maybe a smaller bag with a burlap sack with a book on it.
Just one.
So are you all following Vadim and Mag to Morlabin's, or are some of you going with the mayor?
I think Norman's with the mayor.
Yeah, I actually want to go to Morlabin's. Yeah. I'll let Norman, I kind of am curious to see what Norman gets up to with the mayor by himself.
Aren't we all?
We'll pick up the scene with Norman and the mayor after this moment with Morlabint and Karlth. You step into the front door of Odd Stories. The bell rings as you push the door open, and Morlabint, without looking up, says, "We're closing, please. We're closed for the day. No more business. Please come back tomorrow. We'll open tomorrow morning."
Oh, I think you'll stay open for us.
And Morlabint looks at you and clasps his hands together and says, "You didn't find any more of these books, did you? You did the books that I gave you the list for. Did you go further into the library? Did you find something interesting that I could perhaps take off your hands?"
Oh, we found all of them. Or I think we found all of them. Did we find all of them? We found a lot of them.
He looks at the list of books and he's like, I'm pretty sure you did not find all of them, but
We found a lot of them.
Mag swings the large bag off of her shoulder and rests it on the ground where it is roughly the same size as Trill.
We need a burlap bag with a Trill logo on it. I guess that's your pouch.
What's
Your pouch
Mag's
has that.
Yeah, it has a small silhouette of Trill on it.
and he starts poring over these books. He says, "Well, of course, this one, in incredible condition." But then he looks at the stack of 6 books that you got from the restricted library, and he says, "It seems as though these books have been on fire, and have they been in a bathroom?"
A
What
washroom.
is this, Barnes & Noble?
It was a washroom.
Oh, well, I suppose books as rare as these, I can't exactly be picky about what it is that I take. And he pulls out a bag of coins, and it falls plonk heavily on the counter, handing you a total of $8 million, handing you a total of 35 gold pieces. And he says, "Oh, you must find me more. There must be more. Please bring me more. And this will make Odd Stories the most sought after bookstore in the entirety of the Isle of Kortos." And he sort of looks off into the distance, and he says, "Scholars will come from Absalom, from Varizia, all over the land. They'll come here to my bookstore, but just to see these slightly singed, vaguely soiled books that you brought me, but still they're fantastic books, and please, you must bring me more. You must bring me more."
Any that we see will return here.
Oh, yes. I thank you quite a bit for taking the time to locate these books while just saving the town or whatever else it is that you're doing with your days.
We think of it mostly as a book hunt.
So, are these just more books about weird sex positions?
Weird sex positions, magical sex positions, illegal sex positions, impossible sex positions of various different shapes, sizes, colors, etc. It's really all covered, and that's just this one book.
Trill raises an eyebrow and starts kind of flipping the pages.
Interesting.
And he slams his hands down on the book and he says, "I've given you your pay. If you want to read this book, you will have to pay me for it now."
I just brought you this book. Excuse me. Do you want
sorry,
us to
but
keep bringing you books?
Yes, but you have to understand that I'm a businessman. You can't expect me just to let anybody off the street read these books that I have purchased
Anyone
fair and
off
square.
the street? Ooh.
Look, our one transaction has ended, and now another transaction perhaps can begin.
Do you want to keep this relationship going?
If you can find me more books, of course I'll give you more money.
She'll narrows her eyes and backs out of the store.
Backs like 15 feet out the door of the
Yep.
shop.
She's a very angry and awkward little gnome.
Mag, who's socially a little bit confused, tries to back after Trill, but it's like a narrow aisle, so she's kind of like bonking stuff, and her flail gets wrapped around a greeting card kiosk, and so she has to untangle it.
And he's like rushing up to you and like just batting his hands against you, just like drumming. I'm like, oh, get out, just please come back with more books. I was closing up shop now. I have to. You're wonderful people. I love you very much. But frankly, our day of business is done. Come back tomorrow with more books. And he like just ushers you out of the door, slams the door shut, and you hear the bell ring, ka-ching, one more time, as the sound of this cursing, like frantic wizard disappears back into the shop as he's using various magical powers to like lift pamphlets back on rotary shelves and putting books in the places that they belong and that kind of thing.
Let's go get that drink.
Feel lighter on my feet.
When Mag, Vadim, and Trill push the door open to the Rowdy Rockfish and they see the mural of Eridan, the deceased god of humanity, lifting the Isle of Kortos out of the water. What is it that they see Norman and Mayor Menhem doing?
Norman is like, he's like not quite forehead to forehead, but like, you know, he's clearly two and a half drinks deep and is just like trying to charm the pants off of this guy and learn anything he can about this town. So he's like elbows down on the table, just like smizing the crap out of this guy, egging him on.
Yeah, so that sounds to me, let's do a check, right? Let's do a diplomacy check to make an impression to see how friendly Mayor Menhem has gotten with Norman.
I think we can all agree it's pretty friendly. Let's do it. Not that friendly. Frown gives a +1, so it's 13.
So what that 13 means is that Mayor Menhem looks a little uncomfortable with how forward Norman is being with him. And as soon as he sees the rest of you enter the bar, he says, "Oh, of course, there your friends are. Of course, Norman, look, it's your friends. Let's all talk together. Why don't you sit next to, you can sit here and enjoy each other's company while I sit on this other side of the table." And he just sort of like looks towards the three of you with a little bit of a like, what just happened sort of look on his face.
And Vadim sidles up to Norman, and Norman whispers in his ear, "I've been working my magic."
It looks like it.
He's like, I didn't know there were that many kinds of teeth out there in the world.
Everyone's surprised, man. Everyone's surprised.
It is a very interesting topic.
You want to touch it again?
No, thank you. It's probably best if we get down to business, as it were. And he looks to the four of you and he says, "It's good to sit with you. It's good to talk to you. It's nice to get out of the house. I've been working all day with my dear daughter, Doriana, on her studies. She's a very smart young woman."
Mag snorts.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Mag snorts.
Have you met Doriana?
Oh, yeah, we were in school together.
Lovely girl, great incisors.
You know, I value her more for her mind, she's more clever, more insightful, and more compassionate than I could ever hope to be. She humbles me.
Mag is finding the mural very, very compelling to look at.
As Mag sort of drifts away, he says, "Anyway, bottoms up," and he reaches for a drink, and there's no drink there. Because this bar is incredibly difficult to get drinks at. There is a line at the bar. It has been very hard for people to get drinks. I'm imagining that Norman, just through sheer audacity, managed to get to the front of the bar and order this drink. But there are a lot of people that don't have the ales, the beer, the whiskey, everything else that they're looking for. They don't have it because the woman behind the counter is having a lot of trouble getting these drinks served.
Oh yeah, this happened last time Norman was here.
Jill looks around. What is going on here? Why is it suddenly so hard to get a drink here?
And he shakes his head and he says, well, Brelda has been very far behind. She's having a lot of trouble keeping this place going ever since her son disappeared.
Disappeared?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was, Brelda ran this bar with her son, Lazda. Brelda was more the business side of things. Lazda is one heck of a bartender. Brelda doesn't really have the talent for it. It's a tough job. I'm humbled by the work that bartenders do.
You're humbled by a lot of things.
I still come here to try to help her out. I think it's important to give business to the local businesses here in the community. But people are starting to run out of patience for sure.
Why doesn't she just hire someone else?
I don't know. You'd have to ask her that.
You guys want another round? I got this. And Norman gets up and goes to work his magic to get more drinks at the bar again.
So you push your way past this crowd of people who are sort of rolling their eyes, leaning against the bar, talking, a few people letting out impolite shouts of what do I have to do to get a cask of ale around here? That kind of stuff. As Norman is able to elbow them out of the way with their rudeness. You finally get to see Brelda. She's not very visible over the bar. She is a dwarven woman with a very sad look on her face. She has short-cropped red hair, wearing a sort of traditional barkeep's outfit. And she's stumbling around, attempting to pour a drink, finding that there isn't a glass there for her, running to the other side of the bar, trying to find a glass, coming back, and it's just a disaster.
And Norman says, "Hey, could you use a hand for tonight?"
She pushes her hands to her chest and she looks at you and she says, "Oh, would you please?"
Absolutely. What kind of bartender are you looking for?
Just anybody who can get me through the night. I can't bring anybody on. I can't bear to replace the last bartender. Those gentlemen over there are waiting for a drink for sure.
And Norman, as if it's like a pommel horse, agilely vaults up over the bar, and he reaches into his back and pulls out a sombrero, puts it on, and he says, "Si, señora. I will help."
So Norman is able to leap into action. She looks a little confused by this hat. She's a small town.
It's got a
dwarf.
lot of sequins on it. Yeah.
Yeah, she winces and looks at the light reflecting off of this sequined sombrero. I'm not sure that we're that kind of bar, but thank you. No, it's fine. Thank you. And Norman's able to create a little bit of peace for her as he starts serving drinks. And after about 5 minutes of steadily slinging steins of ale to the various people waiting at the bar, there's finally a moment of peace where there's maybe some time to have a conversation with her.
And he looks at her and he says, "The last bartender, you knew him well."
Well, yes, it was...
The last bartender. Je knew him well. Why am I doing French?
Oh, you're from Galt. We've had a lot of Galtons here lately.
Oh, no.
Oui.
Well, my poor boy, Lazda, he was the one that worked the bar. He's been missing, and it's been horrible.
Do you know how he disappeared, or was he just gone? I'm so sorry.
Well, he just disappeared one day. Can I have a perception check from Norman?
You sure can. You can have that. That's
Okay.
17.
Norman catches, as she says, he just vanished without a trace. Norman catches out of the corner of his eye a man with a close-shaved face and slicked over hair. Looks like he just came back from a long day of working at the Giant's Wheel.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Wolfgang message board draft.
He coughs for a second as though he finds an issue with what it is that Brelda has just told you. So Brelda continues, he just vanished without a trace. Oh, I miss him so much. The way his smile shone so bright over top that ridiculous red beard of his. She kind of laughs to herself for a moment, appreciative of having the time for reflection here.
Has anyone gone to look for him?
Oh, sure. We sent people out. I spent every night walking through the streets of town, calling his name. I thought maybe he had gone to stay with friends. Maybe he had gone to find his fortune in Absalom and just hadn't told me. It's not like him. But I've asked everywhere. I've walked everywhere I can, and listen, it was a year ago. I'm sure he's gone. I just need to move on. People don't just come back after all.
Well, some people do. You don't have any leads. And Norman's like kind of now just making small talk with her and eyeing this gentleman who is coughing.
As you're making the small talk with her, she looks as though she is getting a little more uncomfortable as you're talking about the leads. Like she's been tormented by this for a year, and she's not quite sure how to answer your questions. It's a difficult topic for her.
Well, here I see some people over in the corner there who look like they ordered these, and he holds up 4 beers that are sloshing over. I'm going to bring them over there. I'll be right back. And he like wanders away, brings the beers over to his friends, and he says, just one more second. Does anyone want to come with me? I think there's a guy over here who might know something. It's a whole story. Trill?
Up to this point, I'm kind of curious. What have we been talking about with the mayor?
So as Norman is having this conversation with Brelda, the rest of you are able to talk to Mayor Menhemez, and it's he's just interested in everything that is that you've seen. He's encouraging. He's positive. He's like, listen, the work that you have done for this town already is incredible. And I can only ask you to do more of what you've done and to fight for this town. And he sort of starts campaigning at you as he's hearing this this report. He's interested and supportive, though.
You got a real Bob Dole vibe going there. With
I'm doing the Bob Dole thumb above the fist,
so you're
shoving
holding
it threateningly at my Zoom camera. Listen.
At this point, so Trill's kind of heard this. She's like, okay, good. He's still on our side. I'm really bored by this blowhard. And Norman comes over and mentions something that sounds a lot more interesting, and Trill's perks up. She goes, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I got your back, Norman. Sure. And Trill follows Norman.
And Norman sort of tries to go sidle up to this guy who was coughing in a way that Brelda can't, like, you know, he's sort of trying to look like he's, like, packing in bar nuts in his bowl or something, so he doesn't seem conspicuous. He takes the sombrero off.
Oh, blending in.
And this guy has relocated to a table with 4 of his friends, also seeming to be off a hard day's work at the lumber mill.
Hey, friend, I got you a beer. I have a question for you if you've got a minute.
Yeah, come over. Have a seat.
That lady back there running the bar, Brelda, something's weird about her son. I got the sense maybe you thought that too.
Yeah. Listen, I don't want to put my nose in any business that it doesn't need to get into. And Brelda's a great. She's a great lady. This is a great bar. I'm not trying to say anything negative, right?
No, yeah, of course.
But she says that her son, that Lazda, right? That he just disappeared. But me and the boys here, she won't listen to it no matter how many times I tell her. We saw Lazda meet up with a guy we never saw before. A man in a dark hood. And he walked willingly with that man. He left with him, walking on the road out of town towards that lighthouse.
That
Towards
light?
Towards the lighthouse? Wait.
And we'll pick up from there next time.
Whoa.
I can't wait to find his dead body.
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production, produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. The Roots of Ruin uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's Community Use Policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way. Original characters and content are the property of Tabletop Gold. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Email us at letters@tabletopgold.com and find all our social links at tabletopgold.com.